Hello, everybody, family, friends, followers. Welcome to this week's episode of Great Employees Matter, the podcast that focuses on helping employees rise from average to great and works with employers to teach them how to elevate, appreciate, and recognize their most valuable asset, their employees. We have a special guest for you this week. Her name is Jadeenah Smith. She is the founder and owner of Family Legacy Planners. Family Legacy Planners is an estate planning group. She is a professional estate planner, and we're going to have a pretty exciting conversation with her. We just met her, so this is going to be great. She is brand new to our world, to our family, and we're glad to introduce her to you. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kobe, and he will let you know that Lloyd's not with us this week.
As you know, my name is Kobe Dumas, and I'm joined with Jimmy Bingham. And Lloyd Dix is not with us today, but we're going to have a great show. And so I like to always ask everybody to please like, subscribe, and share if you like the content. We're trying to get this content out to everybody. We got a great show planned for you. And so with that, I want to say, so Jadeenah, welcome to the Gem Show. And for those meeting you for the first time, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you from, and what brings you to Vegas?
Absolutely. So I am originally from Chicago, Illinois. And what brings me out to Vegas is change. It's different. I've been here for right about 15 years now. So apparently Vegas has got a hold of me and it won't let go.
I love it. So tell me a little bit about your background as far as your employment. And I know you own a business right now. We'll get into that a little bit. But tell me a little bit about your employment coming up in your school and upbringing. How was that for you?
Okay. So everything happened pretty much in Illinois and in the Midwest as far as education concerned. I went to a historically black college, which is Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri. But outside of that, I lived in, and I also went to SIU, home of the Salukis in Illinois. Yes, Saluki. But other than that, I grew up and raised in Chicago on the South Side, and there's nothing about Chicago that's bad, except for the snow can get very disrespectful, right? It doesn't know how to stay on the pretty how rooftops or grass or anything like that. It likes to go into the street.
That's why I live in Vegas. Ain't no snow coming over here.
Yes.
Well, we've had a couple of snow days, but not like Chicago.
Yes.
So with that being said, what inspired you? Because you have a great aura about yourself. You seem to carry yourself really good. What was your inspiration as far as your work and your education?
Probably my mom. She was always pushing me to just do better with anything and everything. She always gave me the knowledge and the backing to know that I could do anything I put my mind to. I was her little runaway bird. There's only two of us. And I was the little independent one, right? So the one that would always go off and just be just this little, this little bird that had to get out there on her own. So
now, how many brothers and sisters did you have?
Yep, just one brother.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, small household. So you had a strong career in corporate America, especially in corporate banking.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about what that taught you about your, you have your own business now. Can you tell me how that's helped you in life?
Oh, absolutely. It's helped me be able to navigate different spaces and be able to speak to people and listen. It really, really taught me how to listen, because in the corporate world, there are so many unsaid things, right? And there are so many personalities, big personalities, and also very quiet people. And if you're unable to listen and to hear what's really going on or what they're really saying through their actions, then you can kind of get lost in everything. And the first impression or what in corporate, what you wear on your face is not really how you are. It's a lot of times it's an act or a game or whatever. You're just making yourself look good. But there are things that people go through, even in corporate America. And sometimes it's just listening to those little things to understand
Mhm.
this person might be having something going on in their lives, and they might need something a little bit more than just a surface reaction or a surface response. They need to be cared for on a different level. And so it taught me a lot of that.
I love it. So before I turn it over to Jimmy, I want to ask you one last question. Not my last question, but at what point did you realize that helping families was going to be the way you took your career?
I am the product of a line of ministers. So my grandfather was a pastor. We have pastors all up and down our line. I'm a minister myself. And helping people has always been in our foundation. It's been the foundation of our family. I did not know how I would do it, but it's just as I continued on through life and through business, then there were little gaps where people needed more assistance. And so I just kind of tried to lean into those gaps.
I love it. I love it. Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm going to jump on that. I hadn't planned to initially. I was going to talk a little bit more about the Midwest. I'll get back to that. But given your faith-based upbringing,
Mm-hmm.
and given your chosen profession, right?
Mm-hmm.
You moved from banking and decided that banking obviously helps people, but
Mm-hmm.
you could specifically help people by doing financial planning, by being an estate planner for people.
Right.
What in your ministerial background has helped you, aside from the helping others part of it?
Mm-hmm.
What does the good book, the Bible, teach us as human beings about being financially responsible?
Okay. So one of the scriptures that always stands out to me and that we stand on is that a good man, and you can apply this to women, of course, a good man is supposed to leave a legacy for their children's children, right? And so it's not just that next generation, but we're supposed to be very intentional about doing better for those that are coming up behind us, right? Creating the legacy, creating that space where the family can go on, right? So when we think about the children of Israel and the Bible and all of that stuff, they were very family oriented and they had to stick together, right? And they had to provide for each other. It wasn't that one family, your brother did well and you didn't do well, and so you didn't eat, right? Everybody had to take care of each other. And I think that and just the example of that, even in my own life with my grandfather and my family, that's always been there. That's always been a foundation.
Yeah, I often run into people that have a skewed perception of money
Mm-hmm.
because of what they think the Bible teaches,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so there's a tendency to go to the story of the Pharisees and being in the temple and Jesus overturning the table.
Mm-hmm.
And they look at that as money is bad. And that's not the case. That's not what the Bible teaches. That's not what Scripture teaches. And so are you able to use that when you're counseling your customers? And I'm sure you have a broad spectrum
Yes.
of customers, and those that are faith-based. Do you communicate with them differently because of their understanding, because of the knowledge, or their understanding of what's taught by the Scriptures?
I think that I try and communicate with everybody the same,
Okay.
right? Because we all have that want and that need to take care of our families, right? I may not say Scripture says, right? But if they've expressed that they are, that they have a relationship with the Bible and with Scripture, then yeah, there are some things we kind of joke about and, say, of course, but I approach it the same way because I believe that the example is the example, right? And it's good for all. And I'm not going to treat anyone other than what I would want somebody to treat me, you know. So everybody's mom, everybody's grandma to me, everybody's uncle, everybody's grandfather. And so I treat my clients and my um, that family of clients the way I would treat my own family.
There's something to be said about the golden rule.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for that
Absolutely.
answer. I appreciate that. Then I was going to go back to where I was going to start was the Midwest
Yes.
ethic, right? Because there is a Midwest ethic, and it doesn't matter if you're a farmer or you're a business person. That ethic prevails, and those such as I, who spent a lot of time on the West Coast, see that difference immediately. And I remember when I used to hire employees, I would take a liking almost immediately to anybody that were transplants from the Midwest because they just approached work differently. So what can you share with us about that Midwest ethic?
Well, I think it's just, I actually think it comes down from the South, right? I think that just traveled up, you know, and as we go on throughout is what we've learned generation after generation after generation, right? That we go hard, you know, and we keep going and we don't let anything take us out or take us down. And then when it does, we have to just get together and make sure that we're holding each other up and pushing each other and being accountable with each other. I would say that Midwesterners are bootstrap people, but when you say bootstrap, sometimes that makes people think that you can do it on your own, right? And we can't do it on our own. We need each other. And so I think when you're around people of a like mindset, then it makes it so much easier to get through work and to get through your different goals and get through different levels and hit different planes together. Yeah.
I appreciate that you use the word together because my experience and observation is that in the Midwest, there is a different relationship with the notion of family, right? In the Midwest and certainly in the Deep South, there is a stronger commitment to the extended family.
Yes.
Right. You take care of your own. You take care, not only your parents, and your parents take care of your kids. And then when they get old, you get to take care of them. But you also take care of your grandparents, and you take care of your aunts and your uncles, and you take care of your cousins because it truly is an extended family mindset that I don't see as prevalent in other places. Right. On both coasts, I have had the opportunity to experience both coasts, and I just don't see that to the same level. So, again, I just have an appreciation for Midwesterners and Salukis.
Well, thank you. Go Midwest. Yeah.
Kobe?
What does greatness mean to you in the context of money and planning?
I think greatness is in the context of money. So I think it really has to do with being able to be comfortable and to be settled, right? To not have the stressors that come into our life. Because look, life is going to be life, right? So there are going to be things that stress us out. We're all people, and we're all people in these bodies, right? So the body is going to go and do something, and, you know, everything is going to be everything. But when it comes to money, we can alleviate some of those stressors if we pre-plan with pre-planning and getting things taken care of, right? I just believe that every stress of life is not something that's attacking you. Every stress of life is not something that's normal, right? Some things we can just alleviate, you know, and instead of being stressed about, and I'm not saying that having a business is stressful. Okay, let's just say that, right?
Having a job is stressful too, though. It depends on how you look at it.
Yes. Yes, but some people can tell off their employers, and if I tell off my employer, I'm just in the mirror, right? Talking to myself. But in the aspect of money, just having it and being able to depend on that part to have that amount of peace to know that you're okay in that way,
Mhm.
I think is immeasurable, just to be able to have that underlying peace.
I mean, it takes a lot of responsibility to get your finances right. And here at Gym, we do encourage people to be responsible.
Hmm.
What in what what can you tell me about financial planning and responsibility? Because you have to be responsible in order to plan right.
Right.
So what can you tell somebody that's going into that realm? How can they make it easier for themselves to develop that discipline of responsibility?
Yeah, you have to kind of put it on autopilot. You have to be consistent with it. It just has to be a part of your everyday life. Just autopilot consistency. And you really have to not be a person that is easily influenced by the outside, what's going on, right? Trends and fads and everything like that. You can get into that, but you want to be in a place where everything is comfortable, right? You don't want to just throw money everywhere. Oops, sorry.
That's all right.
You don't want to just throw money everywhere. You have to be consistent. So just a little bit for over a long time does a lot. So either you have to have big money up front, right? Or little money for a long time for it to grow to get to that big money space.
If someone's never done any kind of planning, I
Hmm.
mean, they've done nothing in any stage in life. It could be from older to younger, just coming out of high school. What's the first thing that you would encourage them to do?
To actually sit down and see where they stand. Like, you have to know where you are. You can't, it's great to say, okay, I want to make $1 million a year, $2 million a year. But what is the foundation? Where are we right now? And then after we find out where you are right now, what are your liabilities? What are your assets? Then let's try and reverse engineer your goals. So if it's $1 million, right? Then what does that mean? That means $83,000 a month if you want to do $1 million in a year. That means 2357 a day that needs to be made if you want to gross $1 million a year. And then that also means where is that gap? How much are you making per day now versus your goals? And what can we put in that space to bridge that gap?
I love it, man. Where did you find this love to help people with their finances? Did something happen to you in your life, or did you watch somebody struggle, or do you just have a knack for this? What made you want to go that route? Because that's a route that I know a lot of people would have never went, including me.
Yeah.
Never would have went the route of trying to do finances. I'm learning to love it now, but I hated math growing up, hated all of that
Yeah.
stuff. So tell me what brought you to this world?
Well, I've always been a math girl. So what my mom used to do when we would go to the store is she would make me calculate everything in my head. And there was no calculators. You couldn't write anything down. Everything had to be calculated in your head. So she taught me how to think about money, and discounts and things like that. And then as I began working, I started to think about, okay, well, if I'm getting paid $15 an hour and this is $50, is this worth 3.5 hours of my time?
Yeah.
And if it's not, then I'll just leave it alone. But I've always been a numbers girl. This is a funny story. I haven't told many people this.
Well, you're going to tell everybody now.
I'm going to tell
Okay,
everybody.
all right.
So when I was younger, we were in grammar school, elementary school, and we needed to make some extra money. My mom wanted to make some extra money, get some help with the bills, right? She has 2 little kids to feed. And so we started a candy store in the house, right? And so what I did was my mom explained the concept to me: for every 3 pennies you bring home, you keep a penny, right? She did it as simple as that. And so what I would do is I would take my little notebook and I would go get orders. The first day I brought the candy and then everybody knew what I had. and we would go get orders, and then we were placing orders. And years later, maybe about a couple years ago, I found out, because I never knew what happened. Why did we shut down the candy store? Well, we were effectively putting the school out of business. The cafeteria wasn't selling much.
Hey, that's what you call capitalism at its best.
Yes, we got shut down by the man who was the principal, And so that's because that's how hard, once I was able to get that concept, and she broke it down so easily, for bring 3 pennies in, you keep 1, And so once I understood that,
it's funny how that institution would shut down that type of planning and putting together, because that's an entrepreneur. They should be teaching that in school.
Yeah.
They shouldn't limit that, right?
Yeah.
To the kids coming in. So I love that story. Jimmy.
I'm going to try and stay on the employee vein. We're an employee-centric type of company. And so when is the ideal plan or ideal time to begin to put together a financial plan? Because financial planning changes over time.
It does.
Right? Things happen, right?
Yes.
Life happens.
Yes.
So when is the ideal time for an employee? At what age and at what stage of their employment is the ideal time for them to begin their financial planning?
At the very beginning. I was going to say yesterday. It's always yesterday, right? Yesterday was the best time to start, but the next best day is today. So if you haven't started anything, it does not matter. You can start as early. We can start plans as early as when people are in grammar school and in elementary school. We start plans for newborns when they come out. So if you haven't started a plan and there's nothing in place today, then start today, right? That's the best time to start. Yesterday was the best time, but today is the next best.
Right.
Quick question before Jimmy, in that, because it goes along with, you said you can do a financial plan for kids, right? Is that an area that you're focused in? Because I think a lot of kids today don't have the necessary financial planning that they need. I think the schools just don't teach it like they're supposed to. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I love it. There's certain programs that ask financial advisors and people in the financial industry to come in and teach kids. But I think it's important to teach the families, right? So if we're sitting down, that's one of the things that I do in estate planning, is let's sit down and have a family meeting so that everybody understands and we can teach those concepts early. And then that way, as things progress and when things happen, then everybody is prepared because everybody is on that family plan together.
Love it.
In your estate planning, do you also include disaster planning? So life insurance, for example, so if something does happen?
Yes. We include disaster planning. We focus on trust to make sure that legacies are stabilized when our families get their wings, right? Yes, definitely. We definitely do life insurance and disability insurance and different things to be able to stabilize the family. It's a lot of different pieces that are part of a full estate plan. Yeah.
So for you grandparents out there, and hopefully Jadeenah will support me, but for your grandparents out there, one nice thing that you can do for your children, if you understand how insurance works, for each of my grandchildren, I got them, it's not a lot, it's $100,000 whole life policy, which costs pennies with their infants. Right? As soon as they qualify, it costs pennies. So you can get them $100,000 of insurance, and if it's whole life, then they can borrow against that in the future. So you, in essence, can save and have an education fund, a college fund for your grandchildren very, very easily. It's just having that mindset and looking to the future.
Absolutely. I support it.
Thank you. I don't want to give bad advice.
No, that's great.
And then, for the employees here, one of the things that I did, my major stints in business. I was the bursar, the chief financial officer for student transactions at USC. USC is an organization, an educational, it's a decent college, with 7,000 employees. And one of the things I learned from there was the value of their 401k plan, because they matched up to 9%.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
And you only had, actually it was more than that, because you only had to contribute 6% and they would contribute 9%. So it's 150% of your contribution.
Oh, that's good.
So it's a great way to save for your future. And if you thought you were going to be a lifelong employee of USC. So I learned from that. And then when I went into the corporate world, the non-education corporate world, I worked for a company that did not have a plan, and was able to convince them that they should have a 401k plan. And I think all the employees loved me because I was able to introduce that. And our other co-host, Lloyd, who you haven't met and isn't able to join us today, he was very instrumental in I would say as an expert in ESOPs, in the employee stock ownership plans. And that's another good way for companies. And if you, as you work with businesses, that's a great way to really garner some loyalty from the employees, if they actually have a vested interest in the success of that company. So can you talk to either of those issues, or would you like to talk either about the 401 plan or the ESOP plan?
I can definitely, let's talk about the 401k plan a little bit. So years and years and years ago, in a land far, far away, right? So we used to have pensions were what was in place. I remember I was in the workforce when pensions started to transition over, right? And they started to change to make them 401ks, which now put the responsibility on the employees to be able to manage things. When before you didn't have to manage anything, the company managed it for you. And so what we know is there was a gap in information, because now the employees don't know, what to do, how to manage these plans, unless they got the education by somebody who was doing those type of plans beforehand and didn't necessarily have to have a pension. So the 9%, a 9% match is so beautiful. Like at the companies I worked at, prior to starting the business, the most was 7.5%, right? But then they did have the employee stock purchase plan too, which makes a big difference. And some of those companies that some of us love, right? It's the employees that own the stock that make it a pleasurable experience, because they're co-owners of the business, right? So it's not just, okay, well, I'm working for you. No, my value is increased because I'm here, and the company's best interest is also my best interest. And that's a great way to garner best interest, that with them, that what's in it for me type of, to answer that for employees is the employee stock purchase plan. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. You can make good money on those, on the splits too.
I wasn't that involved with the actual the functional operation of it, because my focus was more on managing money that belonged to the different schools. So their endowments and stuff like that. But I just know that USC definitely had a strong, loyal staff, largely because of the 401k plan and the way they took care of their employees. And that's what we profess. We teach companies how to take care of their employees.
Yeah, they'll be a lifelong employee. Just like if you do it right, and give them something, then they will stay like the pensioners stayed. The pensioners stayed because they were staying for their pension, right? They knew they got a good pension when it was time to retire. But if we teach our employees we can't teach them what to invest in, which index funds or target date plans, right? But we can have something there and have that plan there, and a great plan. And then that way they'll stay, because they'll say, oh, well, my company is giving me this. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'll stay right here.
In a nutshell, I think that you're saying companies need to go back to taking care of the people.
Absolutely.
When I was coming up in the 1900s, my parents, you were able to get a career job and take care of your family and not have to worry about stressing. And, the mom could be a stay-at-mom home if she needed to and take care of the kids. And I think we got away from a lot of that type of things that were surrounding the family, which brings us to the problems that we have today. What do you think about that?
I believe that's true. When it didn't mean as much for the companies to be $5 billion companies or $10 billion companies, when they would put back into their employees, then the employees were stable, right? And stable employees or happy employees are going to work for the company a lot better, a lot harder. They're going to care for the company that cares for them.
And as you know, we appreciate those sponsors that help us be who we are and enable us to go ahead and share our information with employees and employers around the country. And so today's sponsor is...
There's 6,500 foreign languages spoken in the world, but we believe only one language has the power to unite and connect the human race. We call that language BANK. And BANK is a methodology that we created, which is personality-based. It's rooted in the principles of the 4 personality types dating back thousands of years, with a very powerful modern-day twist that, when applied to business and relationship, creates extraordinary results.
The number one problem is people want to make more money and they don't know how. So they have a problem actually connecting with their prospect, their lead, their customer, the person across from them. We teach them how to communicate more effectively and figure out their personality type, and then how to get a better connection, and it automatically leads, when people like you, they want to buy your product.
What we specifically do for our clients is we teach them how to increase their influence, their income, and their impact up to 300%.
It's opened doors that I didn't even know existed. I immediately saw the impact that it could have in education.
Not only has it increased my income, but it has absolutely changed my impact and my influence.
Bankcode is an amazing technology that you can use to find out about other people rather than just yourself. I'm communicating better with my friends, my family, my clients.
Getting to yes sooner, getting to what matters to the person sooner by just listening to what they value.
And really just gave me an opportunity to connect with people in a much different way.
Making it a win-win-win for all the people involved.
It's literally lighting a fire inside of me that I didn't know I had.
And it was really a no-brainer for me.
There's a lot of assessments that are in the market. Ours is unique originally because most every other assessment was based in psychology, whereas Bank was based in what we call biology, spelled B-U-Y-ology, which was the science of buying behavior, or what we now understand as buy-in behavior. It's the science of communication. So it gave us a very unique ability to predict someone's buying behavior in less than 90 seconds, and now in nanoseconds using our Codebreaker artificial intelligence. So if you want to learn more and you want to come join our Make People Matter movement, you want to discover more about yourself and your personality, come visit us at codebreakerglobal.com. Codebreaker Global, make people matter.
And so, Jadeenah, you've been sharing a lot of really valuable information for us. I'd also like to ask you if you can share some information about trusts, because lots of families just don't know about trusts or don't understand how they work. So could you just spend a couple minutes talking about trust and what the value to employees and to families is to have a trust?
Of course. So there are different kinds of trusts. What a trust does is it effectively helps you sign off on the transfer of assets before you go away, right? And it also helps us know, your families and your friends know how to care for you, because trust contains different documents, right? a couple of the documents are the healthcare power of attorney that tells doctors and it tells everybody in the healthcare system that I have somebody to advocate for me, to speak for me when I can't speak for myself, right? Then there is the advance directive that says this is how I want to be treated when we're at the end of everything, or I can't advocate, this is how I want to be treated, right? And I think that's so important. I learned that importance. I was in a fire in COVID, and I had just gotten divorced, so I had no husband to speak, no legal representation to be able to speak for me. And so I had to advocate then for myself, right? And so that's a huge thing. And a lot of parents don't know that once a child turns 18, you no longer can advocate for them. You know, they're their own person, so you can't speak on their behalf. So you want to make sure that we have those things in place at minimum. A trust and transfer of assets, it tells everybody up front, this is what I want to do. These were my intentions. And it avoids what's called probate court. Well, we do our best to avoid probate court. What I'm going to tell you, what not a lot of people will say, is that we do our best to avoid probate court, right? It can go into probate, even with the best written trust, but the amount of time in probate should be minimized. And what the probate court is it's the court that's in that state that says, okay, I want to administer, or I want to do these things with those assets, right? So I want to give these assets to this person and those assets to that person. Every state has its own plan of succession. So if you don't have a trust, then what happens is the state does have a trust for you, but it's just their plan and not yours. Putting a trust in place tells them, I have a plan for myself and I have a plan for my family. And I don't want your stinking plan.
That was actually going to be my follow-up question. How does the trust affect the probate? And families need to know that because they can lose a lot in the probate process if they're not prepared for it. So thank you for that.
Yes.
And then the last financial question I have for you is, are you a fiduciary?
Yes, I'm a fiduciary.
So can you share the value to our audience of what a fiduciary is?
So a fiduciary is somebody that has to work in your best interest, right? So it's not someone saying, okay, well, I'm going to put you in this. They're not looking for the best commission, or they're not looking for what's in it for them. They have to work on your behalf, have to. And so that puts you in a better place when you're with a licensed fiduciary. Yes.
Yes.
I got a quick question. Jimmy, is that okay?
Yes.
Why wouldn't everybody pick that? Why would somebody pick a non-fiduciary? I don't even know what they're called, but why would somebody pick somebody that doesn't practice that?
Because they don't know.
Wow.
That's it.
And there's still a market for that.
Yes.
Actually, fiduciaries are relatively new. Right? It used to be that financial planners could, especially the big boys, right, would make the decision about how to handle your money. And you're right, that it was always first in their best interest, under the guise of, we want to do the best with your money. But it really was, they were doing the best for the firm. And if you happen to benefit from it, that was great. And so the laws were changed and regulations were changed to bring fiduciaries into the picture. And I agree with Kobe. I mean, it's a good question, right? Why wouldn't everybody do that? And it's just general lack of knowledge, not understanding that a fiduciary is a different type of money manager.
That's right. It's somebody that has to, and they're held accountable for what they put you in.
Right. And they can be penalized if they make mistakes.
Yes.
So that's a great question.
Big
Kobe.
time.
Yeah. How does your personal mission align with helping families feel secure, confident, and prepared? Because you obviously do that for yourself.
Right.
Right. And that's your personal journey. How does that translate?
Well, they are a part of the planning. It's their plan, you know. I want to help them achieve their goals, their plan, right? It's not my plan for your life. What you do with your life, or who you have, or if you want to disinherit somebody or anything like that. I have no personal, interest in it. My goal and my mission is to help make families, help keep them prepared, help keep them educated, and that they have their plan for themselves and their families, right? And I think they should feel confident in that. We have, again, like I said, we do family meetings where we sit down, and as many people that need to be a part of the conversation are a part of the conversation. Let's ask questions. Let's dig deeper, let's go down the road. Let's go down the rabbit hole and see what we come up with,
Okay.
if we come up with a carrot or if we come up with a rabbit, right? Yeah. But let's go as deep as they need to go. And I also make it a point to ask questions that they generally don't ask, or people generally don't ask themselves, like, are there any other children out there that you kind of forgot about, or what happens when you lose your loved one, your life partner, and now there is a caretaker that is able to exert undue influence. How can we speak to that? How can we keep you safe? But we need to ask those questions right now, because the time is not when you're in that caretaker situation and now we're fighting with the courts, or we're fighting trying to prove that there was undue influence or there's some type of abuse going on. We need to answer that question now, and so I ask those questions to make them dig deeper, so that when we're finished, and it's not just, we're not hitting just one spot where we're finished. No, we're in a lifelong relationship, because life changes, families change, things happen. And so we have to revisit continually, and we have to make sure that we speak for all of those questions and all of those little things that happen in life, and get it all together. So the confidence comes in sitting down and making a full, complete plan, and continuing to go over it, continuing to revisit it, continuing to make changes, and just continuing to be a support. I'm not in it for one day. I'm with you for the rest of your life.
In keeping in alignment with Kobe's question, I have to assume that it is very rewarding to you when you take a family under wing, and first you educate them, 2, you help present and prepare their plan, and 3, you see them execute on the plan, so that that you've done a great service to them, and that family, not just the mother, the father, the insular family, but that entire family has benefited tremendously from your knowledge, your guidance, your leadership. Right? So,
absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I get so excited. I know people probably look at me crazy because I feel like I push paper all day, but I get so excited when there's a new family that comes in and we go down the deep road of legacy and dynasty, and they start to think about things and light bulbs start to go off, right? And we get it together and we have the plan, right? It's so rewarding for me to be able to give that to families. One of the reasons why is because my families come from 2 different spaces, right? One of my mom's family, they did attain a lot, but they didn't have that plan there. And so in that next generation, we also lost a lot, right? And then on my father's side, they attained and they've kept through generations because there was a plan, right? And we continue to educate. Each generation gets educated. Each generation adds to. And so being able to see the differences and just what education can do for families makes me want to tell the world.
Well, that's a great segue into the section of our podcast that we refer to as shameless self-promotion. Okay. So can you promote yourself and tell our audience how they can get in touch with you if they have any questions about estate planning and the like?
Absolutely.
Or if they just want to talk to you, you're a wonderful energy.
Oh, well, thank you. So if you just want to talk to me, it's 702-786-7148 is my phone number. the business line Family Legacy Planners. Also, you can reach me at on LinkedIn at Jadeenah Smith or Family Legacy Planners as the handle, or Jadeenah, JADEENAH, at flegacyplanners.com is my email address.
Okay.
So call me, beat me if you want to reach me.
That's a beautiful thing. Well, I have to tell you, this was as wonderful as we knew it was going to be. I am sorry that Lloyd's not here. He's not able to co-host today because he would have some really good questions for you.
I think you guys did a great
You're
job.
very delightful. So thank you very, very much for coming on our show, for sharing your background, your expertise with our audience and with us. We always learn something. Is there one, because we're Great Employees Matter, gem, is there one gem that you can leave for our audience? About anything.
About anything. Oh, gosh, you would ask me something like this. Is there one gem? I would just say, as employees and employers, take care of your family, right? Your business family, your family at home, because these are the people that keep your business going, and they are the people that help sustain your life.
Beautiful. Kobe?
Yeah, I'm just going to say, man, you probably asked her if there's any gems. She's been dropping gems the whole show. So really, really appreciate you coming and talking with us. And as far as Lloyd, I think he'll get a chance to interview you because I want to take this opportunity to ask you, would you come back and talk to us in the future and check back up on us and see where you're at? We're hoping to do business with you in the future. So that would make you part of the family. So we would definitely want to recircle back and interview you again for the show if you would have us.
That would be awesome. I would love to come back.
All right. And with that, I'm just going to say it's been another great show. You always know we bring you great guests every single week. We always try to learn and teach on this show every single week. So please make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, help us grow, help us get these good messages out to people so that we can change the climate of our nation. Right. And thanks for that. Jimmy, we're out of here. Greatness, excellence, motivation, always be a gem, and we'll see you next week.